it's Lon Simon, and it's time for your weekly wrap-up. And I am behind the desk today and not in front of the green screen because I wanted to do a little Windows 10 overview. There's not too much to show, so I figured I could wrap it up in the wrap-up, so you can check that out. But before I get to that, I want to thank Dallas Deadeye, who's our latest Patreon supporter of the show. Greatly appreciate your contribution, Dallas, and thank you for that. And you can contribute as well at Lon.TV/Patreon, and I use all of those funds to help offset my losses when I buy items to review and then resell them, because of course you always lose money selling a used item versus a new one. So thank you all for your contributions. I also have a one-time contribution mechanism that you can find at Lon.TV, which is the YouTube fan funding thing. And if you do that, please send me an email at lon@lon.tv so I can thank you on the show, because they never tell me who actually gives me the money. It just shows up and I don't know who did it. So please leave a note and I will thank you on the weekly wrap-up. So lots of reviews coming up this week. The scanner that I talked about last week arrived. Here it is. I just finished recording the review. I'm going to be editing it up and probably posting it at the same time I do the weekly wrap-up video, so look for that. We got that low-end Epson printer. I also have an interesting Thunderbolt hub from High Point that arrived. I'm actually quite intrigued about this because it has an eSATA port on it, which is not something I've seen on the other Thunderbolt hubs that I've reviewed. So we'll play with that a little bit and benchmark it and see how well it will do with my fastest SSD. So stay tuned for that. And the last thing is kind of neat. It's from AT Games. They're the same people that made that Genesis handheld that played well but had the lousy sound. They just came out with a Colecovision replica, and I'm really excited about that because next to that Sega Genesis back there, the Colecovision is one of my all-time favorite game consoles, so we'll see how well this one does. I looked it up when I was looking up information on that handheld, and this just came out, so I bought it last week, and we'll see how well it can replicate the Colecovision experience, and I am sure we'll get a bunch of other stuff in as well. All right, so let's take a quick look at Windows 10, and no, you're not missing anything. They just decided to skip the 9. So just like they skipped DOS 4, they are skipping Windows 9, and now it is called Windows 10. And the big thing is that you get your start menu back, which is very exciting to me, because now I don't have to install the classic shell or some other third-party app to get my start menu on Windows 8. And what's also cool is that they have integrated those smart tiles back in. So if you liked having those full screen apps that pop up, or at least having some auto updating items on your desktop, you still have them here in the start menu. You can also make sure the start screen comes back too. So if you really like the start screen, you can have that, or you can have this. You can't have both, unfortunately, but that's life. You got to have choices. So if you click on, for example, one of these smart things here, instead of getting a full screen app now, you get the Metro app in its own window. So it kind of behaves like it did before, except the fact now it's kind of more of a windowed app than it is a full screen app. If you make it go full screen, you can certainly get there, but your taskbar here will always be at the bottom, which is kind of a real departure because Microsoft was really trying to bring out these tablet-y kind of apps, and now they've kind of gone back to Windows apps. So I'm not sure from a programming standpoint how you're going to choose whether to write a Metro app or a Windows app now that they both kind of behave the same way. So that's a little confusing, but we'll see how it goes from there. And really, there isn't much else to look at just yet. I'm running it in virtualization, so it's a little bit slow, but it was good to see that Microsoft is starting to listen to customers and putting that start menu back in, making it a little bit easier for desktop users to have a more familiar interface and be able to navigate their computers as efficiently as they did with Windows 7. And Windows 8's gotten a lot of bad press and a lot of unhappy users, and there's some really good, some justification for that. But I really like the fact that Windows 8 runs so well on low-end hardware, which we look at quite a bit on the channel. So I'm hoping that Windows 9 will continue that trend and run just as well as Windows 8, but bring us back some features that we were missing in the current version. So that will do it for this weekly wrap-up. If you have any questions or comments, as always, please leave them below, and I look forward to conversing with you throughout the week. Thanks for watching.